So it looks like the Uber driver that was brought up during the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that picked up Jen Shah from Heather Gay's house, he's speaking. And it's very interesting what he has to say. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So I just posted a video today that there was this rumor going around that there are 3 housewives that are having an affair or had an affair. And the people that they're alleging is Meredith Marks, Lisa Barlow, and Jen Shah. So a lot of you were in my comments after I did this video asking about, remember the Uber driver. And you reminded me, I've been sitting on this piece of information because this interview was done several days ago with our friends over at Bitch Sesh. And they spoke to the Uber driver that picked up Jen Shah that night. You know, the same night where she canceled her ride, it was ordered for her. Well, the Uber driver reveals a lot of information. There's a lot of information. Information like Jen Shah doesn't have Uber on her phone, probably because she has a lot of burner phones, allegedly. You know, they're accusing of her and Stu Chainz using this specific text messaging app in order to communicate with each other. So it wouldn't surprise me that she wouldn't have Uber. So not only do we find out she doesn't have Uber on her phone, she paid this Uber driver $100 to take her to this undisclosed place that it looks like it was a condominium. She even asked the Uber driver to call Coach Shah, Coordinator Shah, and pretend to be her assistant. Wouldn't he know who her assistants are? Anyways. And say that lie for her. Okay, we have that part. The Uber driver first of all, she asked the Uber driver to cancel the ride, but then asked the Uber driver to take her somewhere else. He takes her to this other place. She pays him via one of the Cash App, the Venmo, whatever it may be, $100. Then she asks him to pick her back up later on that night. But there's a lot of other interesting details in between that I think we should listen together.
Yes, of course. So you got your popcorn ready because this is breaking journalism.
Yep. Thank you.
So get the call from Heather. I'm waiting outside, and it's just a normal thing. And then I hear Heather Gay's voice.
Now, may I ask, and I hate to ask, are you Uber Black? Are we
green?
Love it.
Uber green.
Perfect.
So waiting outside, I hear Heather Gay's voice through the car, and I'm like, oh my god! And I start to fangirl a little bit, take a little paparazzi photo. That's Exhibit A.
He's a fan, y'all. Forgive him. He's a fan.
And we have proof.
We verified your story.
Yes. Jen walks out looking fabulous as she always does. And she's currently on a FaceTime with a producer. And she turns it, says hi to me. I introduce. I'm like, hello, I'll get her home. Reassuring. And then she asks if her hat makes her look like Ronald McDonald. And
honestly, she never is not entertaining.
No.
It's true. Oh, 100%. I was entertained, start to finish. And for context, this is the night episode where she goes to Heather's house and gives her the sex toys. So it's that outfit.
Oh,
it's the arrest episode.
Wow.
So, and I realized quickly that she's full tornado drunk. And she would ask a question before I could answer one.
Ask a question of herself, or of did she end up kind of answering them all?
Well, she's like, does this hat make me look like Ronald McDonald? But she's also on this FaceTime at the same time. I just can't keep up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a whirlwind.
Yeah, whirlwind. And no shade, we've all been that drunk. We've all, had to have a car called. So she gets off the FaceTime and then says, okay, I need you to cancel this ride and take me to a party. Heather thinks she has me on lock. And I was like, okay. And so she gives me an address that's 7 minutes from where we are. And I'm thinking it's like an event or something. I was like, okay, what's going on? You just need to adjust. So
now I hate to stop you here, but because it's Heather's account, it's not like Jen can do the old switcheroo and change. So you're just going off the books now. Now you're just driving for free. Right. Am I wrong?
Right. So because I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, now I have this drunk person that doesn't want the person who called it to know where we go. So I canceled thinking that we're just going to call from your app.
Sure.
But does she not have the app?
And then she hands me her phone and says, "Help me." And she doesn't have the app.
Oh, boy.
She doesn't have any apps. I was like, I'm like, what's going on here? And so, but she's insistent on paying me, which is great. So she asked for my Venmo. I'm like, all right, sure.
Okay.
And then she scans it, sends me $100.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
I mean, I
appreciate it.
That's blood money. That is blood money, Anon,
Yes,
but okay.
I know.
Yes.
And I didn't ask for it, whatever, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
So at this point, we're parked. And so at that point, I'm like, I tell her I'm a fan, love the show, that we watch at one of my best friend Doug's house every week. And she instantly is like, do you want to go live? And I was like, no, I don't want to go live.
Sorry, are you still driving at this point?
I'm parked.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And I look like hell. I'm working. And like, I don't want to go live from my car. I'm just going to just take you where you need to go.
Yeah, like with love, you're not looking to be on a reality show. I mean, you sort of are.
I just couldn't keep up. And like, I think it's good to clarify, we're geeking, we're laughing, we're having a good time up to this point.
Love it.
Tells me they're filming the second season at Heather's, but here's where it gets a little less than amazing.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for using the right
terminology.
adjectives.
Yeah.
Yes. So now she knows I'm a fan, and she then asks, quote, "Will you call Coach and say you're an assistant and that we had to stay late and that I can't come home yet?" And I'm like, what? Like, it took a second for me to track what she's asking, because like, it's not my industry. Assistant to what?
And you don't know. And you don't know this person.
And she has 1,700 assistants. First of all, where the fuck is Stu?
Yeah, I just met you 90 seconds ago. Like,
90 seconds and $100 ago. I mean, that wasn't worth a call.
Yeah. Was that hush money? What is this?
Right.
Like,
clearly, you have not hushed because you're on our platform.
To quote, I'm disengaging from this question.
Okay. You can disengage from anything you want.
I was like, no, I'm not okay with that.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So I'm like, I start driving up Holiday Boulevard, keep chatting, like having a good time still. We pull up, and it didn't seem like an event or party. Like, it was a condo apartment complex with a gate. And so I make a joke that like, she has to jump over this gate with her fur, and like, we're like having a moment. And she asked me again if I could call Coach. This time I gave a firm no. I was like, no.
You have your boundaries.
Yeah, I was just like, well, this is already like not where I want it. Like, this is going off a whole different path. I was just supposed to drive you to Park City.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Now, this is how all of her assistants become assistants.
By the way, you're now working for her.
I was going to say, you are one of the assistants.
And I do believe everyone is paid in cash. Go on.
Right.
Okay.
So she called Coach in the car, and then she asked if I could come back, pick her up, and take her to Park City after. I was like, sure. She gets my number.
Very generous.
That I could,
yeah.
Yes. And even offered that I could sleep at her house if I get too tired after driving. What? Like, she's very sweet. What? She's very sweet. I'm like,
she does care too much. She said it herself.
She sounds generous.
That's her burden.
Yes, I agree. She's very, very kind. And so very sweet, had a blast with her, minus, her asking me to lie to her husband. But like, and I was thinking like, so are you using your clout to like absolve yourself of what, like, I don't know. What is this? So she calls the person, gets out and like tries to get into the gate, gets out and goes. And this was all 13 minutes. Okay. Like from when I got picked up to when she texted me at 12:12.
About as long as we've been talking. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the first part. So she calls me at 1:25 and says,
"You really have this."
Oh, I tracked every screenshot. So I was like, she calls me at 1:25 and she's like, "Hi, it's me." Like, okay. Oh, I know who you are. It's me.
Yeah.
And so I go back to pick her up. She's exactly where I left her, like exactly same, right on the street, same spot. Looks exactly the same. This time, maybe a little more sober. And so she gets in and she says she found the key to the Porsche. That was partly the reason why she had to get an Uber, because she lost the key to the Porsche.
And her Porsche is at Heather's?
Her Porsche is at Heather's.
Okay.
And so as we're driving now, Lisa Barlow calls 3 times and she keeps rejecting it. And so then I'm like, well, why? And then that started a tirade. And she went off about the Wolfpack event and how, foster children, because this is right on track with that episode.
Right as rain.
Yeah. So, and she was mad she wasn't invited. And it sounds like they resolved that on the show.
Sorry, so Lisa Barlow is calling multiple times at 1 a.m.?
It was, yeah. So she calls me at 1:25. So by the time I got back to her about that, the 1:45.
That's
what
odd.
is Lisa Barlow doing up at that time and power calling?
Odd.
I thought maybe the event was the same night that happened, maybe. And maybe that's why she's mad in the moment.
Like we're talking it down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But if you recall on the show, Lisa's saying, what night was that? She's asking Heather, what night was that? And then she's being so elusive and vague, saying, I was checking to see if she saw someone. Well, you called her 3 times. Like, maybe, I don't know. So the second wife is a little more chill and a little more, calm down. But she's going off on Lisa and AARP. And she keeps saying AARP. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? I had to stop her. I'm like, because I'm not tracking what you're saying. Yeah. And she's like, Meredith, because she's old.
Because that's an older organization.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. It was like the shade of it all. I was like, okay.
Rude.
So, yeah, rude. Don't kill the messenger. I love Meredith.
No. Never.
Yeah, right. So, the second wife is more chill. She asked for my Venmo again. Sends me another 100 when she's getting out. Also didn't ask for it. It's very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
So, right. So we end with the niceties and whatnot. And then she followed me in her car to the freeway. And I was like kind of checking to make sure she was like good. It was like, if she was going to, but she seemed fine. She drove just fine, drove home. So like at the end of the day, she was all over the place, but I was entertained. I had a great time with her. And then 5 days later, she gets arrested.
Oh, Jesus.
I had to talk about this because so many people have been telling me about this interview. And I said, wait, the Uber driver did an interview? So I had to listen to this a couple of times before I brought it to you. So it doesn't clear up where exactly she went, but she went to another location. It's not making sense to me why her car key would be at this other location. How did she get her car to Heather's house then, unless that was just an excuse she was telling this young man? And shout out to him. Thank you for being a super Bravo fan and getting this information to us. You should have brought it to me, but I'm okay. But there's just so many mysteries when it comes to Jen Shah. On one side of things, she does care for people. She seemed really, really nice, at least for her fans. I don't know about other people. Shout out to Koa and the way she treated him. That was caught on video. God only knows. Maybe she's nice to you in the beginning, then all of a sudden she's insane later. Where did she go? What was this condominium? The mystery and the situation with Meredith and Lisa, I thought was interesting and sort of connecting the dots of what we've seen on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But there is definitely something deep going on between Meredith and Jen Shah. At one point, they were good friends. So much so that they shared the person that they cheated with, allegedly. This is a big, big mystery. But if you have not been into Salt Lake City, this is what you're missing out on. I am hot on the case. I don't call myself an investigator. I just collect what's thrown at me. And I'm like, oh, guys, look what I found. Guys, I want to know your thoughts on what the Uber driver had to say about the night he picked up Jen Shah. And she later, you may also recall, Jen Shah denies any of this. She took to her Instagram and denied the whole Heather story, what Lisa was saying. I believe the Uber driver. He was sober, driving her from point A to point B, and then from point B back to wherever. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.